Hi, I'm Daniel,
And I'm Jamie.
and we're here to talk about expectations in marriage. You know, we have found some people have gotten married so quickly and their marriages don't last long because they're based on a premise that's not lasting. And we have other people who are building up these walls continually of all these various expectations that it's very difficult to find a match. And we're not leaving room for God. It's the idea, if we look at our walk, we really should be embracing an arranged marriage.
Yeah.
Because if it's ordained and if we're resting on the Father, then He is going to arrange a marriage for us. That's what happened with Jamie and I, because we weren't pursuing each other at all. We were admins and we were just doing our thing, and through you can hear our story in other videos, through various events, He brought us together. So let's talk about some aspects. First, with the quick marriages. What are those things that make a marriage happen quickly? If you want to start with
Well,
some of
I
that.
think that it's physical attraction brings people together the quickest. Um, I don't think even people will open conversations with someone if they're not physically attracted to them. They won't even give the person a chance. Um, I think the biggest problem with that is that you're basing a foundation, your relationship is based on that foundation of chemistry, and it it basically it puts you in like romance mode
Mm-hmm.
where you're not able to see red flags.
Right.
I think that's the biggest problem, and you ignore those red flags. You both basically have masks on because you're not, you're putting your best foot forward, not able to build a friendship. And when you don't get to know each other authentically, then what happens is after marriage, scientific data prove that it's 18 months to 2 years, and people are getting divorced, and they don't know why, but it's because, I mean, the people don't know why they're getting divorced so quickly, but the data show that it's because the marriage was based on physical attraction. And then once that romantic period, honeymoon phase wears off, then comes the divorce. Then comes, well, who are you? That's not, you're not the person I married. But in fact, that's the real person that they're seeing at that point.
We're attracted to an idea, and that person isn't that idea. So that's when we're too quick. There's another side when we're too quick is when we're desperate. We're so
Yes.
desperate, we just like, someone showed me interest, I want them, and boom, you get married. So two desperate people can get married quickly, and they like the idea of having a mate. So neither one of those situations work. You don't want to be desperate, and you don't want to have all this chemistry. I mean, in reality, Jamie's and our chemistry came later.
Hmm.
It truly was like an arranged marriage. We were kind of like, what's this all about? What just happened? And then that chemistry grew and grew, and it's still growing.
Yeah.
So it's important that you know who you are, know your heart, know your needs and your weaknesses, so that you can say, I'm not desperate. I love who I am. I'm comfortable with who I am. And if I find someone, great. But if I don't, not just anyone will do.
I
So,
can attest to that. Like I was in some pretty awful situations where I got hurt because of desperation. Yeah, not a fun place to be.
right. So, know yourself. Make sure your motives are right. To get married is a great motive, but it's not really a motive at all. That's an action. So, to find that person, to enjoy oneness, and not the excitement. There will be excitement, but don't have that be the motive. To fill a gap, that's not a motive. So truly opening yourself up to the Father's leading, letting Him act, will make you more available.
Well, I think some of it too is that people will get, let's just, specifically talking about the group, women will get friend requests from men and vice versa. And they'll start a conversation, with the other. And if they're not attracted, they're not even going to have a conversation to get to know them as friends. And you don't even know if that person could be your person. And you're not going to give it a chance because you're not physically attracted to them. And that's sad.
Mhm.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
But it also goes with, we've been talking about lists a lot.
Mhm.
And I've heard a lot of people talk about, I have a list. I have made a list. This is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I'm looking for in my future spouse. And that's really disheartening to me, because it's great that you have an idea of who you're looking for and the qualities that you want in that person. But if you're going off that list as a checklist, I think it's really limiting your options in a person, and limiting the father, because I've never had a list. I've never made a list. There was qualities that I always wanted to have in a husband, but I tell you what, if I made a list, I wouldn't be married to Daniel right now. I mean, honestly, because, and I think if it's the same with you, because we put the father in a box and we say, this is what I want, when he's the one who knows what we need and what we want. He knows us better than we know ourselves. And to say that we want something specific, the things that I got from Daniel, that I have received and been blessed with because he's my husband, are things that I never would have even asked for or thought about putting on a list. And I have them, and I'm like, wow, like I would never even thought to ask this. But the Father knew. He knew exactly what we needed and what we wanted.
Right. Part of that making a list is actually limiting yourself. You need someone who has characteristics that you don't know about, who can offer something, because we're complete, but we're not complete. There's more. It's like I've shared this many times. 1 + 1 = 3. So yes, we're each complete, but together we're more. And so you won't know the more you could be if you've limited yourself. And another big thing is lists. I promise you that in many respects, your lists are a list of responses to hurts.
Yeah.
You are hurt, so you want someone who won't do this. This was a problem, so you want somebody that will do this. And so if you actually look at your list, it's a list of hurts. And it's not a list of healing. So you need to look at who you are, and you need to take a deep breath and say, I don't want to limit myself. I want to be healed well enough that I can see through the mask. I want to give the relationship time enough, and I want to make sure I'm not desperate, so I'm blinded to truth, so that you can breathe in the friendship, learn about the person in a relaxed stance, and then let it grow. So now you see some reality, you have some opportunities to get beyond the masks, and you'll find that your shopping list was far from complete, and that you're really wanting someone who will offer something to the relationship that is far above and beyond what you could ever ask or imagine.
Right.
I mean, that isn't that what the Father wants us to do, to come to him and ask for things far above beyond what we can ask or imagine, because that's miraculous, that's divine. And your list is being a list of hurts. It's actually a list of reactions, and you just built a wall, and nobody can peek over that wall until that list is gone. You're going to look for characteristics. You're going to look for, do you feel inspired, encouraged by this person? But the lists, be careful. Be very careful.
Yep. And if we have a list and we go by that list, does that even leave room for the Father to choose a partner for us? It's the exact opposite of surrendering to the Father and saying, you know my heart, you know what I need, you know me better than I know myself, and I want you to be my matchmaker. I want you to find me the person that is best for me, not just now, today, but in 5 years, and 10 years, 20 years from now, that we will be able to evolve together, and grow together through life. And that takes a lot of trust and faith in the Father. and a lot of surrendering. I've talked about this before. When we surrender something to the Father, when we lay it at His feet, and we don't pick it back up again.
Mm.
You need to leave it there. Leave it there at His feet. Leave it at the altar, and continue to pray about it, but don't pick it up. You pick it up, and you're taking that control back, and you're saying, I can do it better.
Yep.
And then you don't leave any room for Him to match you up with your person.
Yep. So I think those are very important things for you to consider. Spend some time looking at your motives, your heart, pray to Him, surrender to Him, release your list, and make yourself more open to conversations with people, and see what they're like, and enjoy the trip. The journey is more important than the destination.
Oh, the journey is amazing. If the Father's leading you and leading your person, the journey is amazing. And it becomes something that you could never have even dreamed of. Never. I never thought anything like this was possible. I mean, I never thought men like Daniel even existed. So how can I be praying for someone who I don't even know has the qualities that he has? I wouldn't have even prayed for him. So again, the surrender is very important, and letting the Father be your matchmaker. And the arranged marriage, I know it sounds scary, but when we talk about arranged marriages, we're not talking about people putting us together. We're talking about the Father putting us together. And so an arranged marriage should be something that we are willing to do, willing to walk in that surrender and let the Father arrange our marriage. And being with someone that you know that there's a connection there because the Father put it in your heart. The Father placed a desire in my heart for Daniel before I even met him. How does that happen? Except only by the Father.
Yeah. I remember a time we were texting, and again, you look in the video, but there was a point where I texted to her in a group with the admins, like, woman, you are my undoing. And it's like, I had no intentions of having a relationship. That was not, it hadn't crossed my mind. And yet he had built this emotional connection to a woman I had never even seen at the time. So that's miraculous. That's trust. Walk in that, and see what happens.
Some pretty awesome stuff. Yep.
All right. We love you all, and pray that His peace and healing and wisdom will be upon you all. Amen.
Shalom.
Shalom.